Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my very first video. My name is Bianca, and I am uh, going to show you how I analyze the charts before they open on Sunday at 5 p.m. So currently it is 2:49 p.m. December 10th, and I'm starting off with showing you guys on a weekly time frame how I identify my targets and my bias for the upcoming week. Currently, we are looking at a weekly chart for the United States dollar versus the Canadian dollar. And after this, we'll probably go into the Great British Pound versus the United States dollar. And it'll be short and sweet. All right. So the first thing I look at when I am identifying targets and bias is I'm looking on this weekly time frame to see where price has been, where it is now, and where it would like to potentially go. Because, of course, we don't predict the markets, we just react to the market. So, looking at this higher time frame, I see that price is looking to be in a downtrend. And this is as of 2020, right when the pandemic started. And I see that there is a gap here. Some of you might be asking, why am I looking all the way back to 2000 to 2020? These price points, these levels in price, they make a very big difference. So we do see that there was a touch in 2020, October 2022, excuse me, and then another one in March of this year. And then we started this previous month, November 2023, at that same area. So that tells me that price more than likely is not breaking past this level or this area of price and would like to continue down, which it is doing here. And so let me go back. Zoom in on this specific area. Whoa, not that far. All right. This is where I wanted to come back to. This area right here. So you see there where this space is, where there is a wick, a black line right here before this large red pink candle. There's a line here, and this is a wick. So right here, wicks will look different depending on the broker, but for the purposes of what I'm using, Onanda on TradingView, we'll see that price is creating a fair value gap where between this wick right here, this price candle, and then the wick that came before it, there was an inefficiency in price. So price jumped down, quick displacement for that week, and it did not come back and rebalance. So moving forward in 2022, there was a rebalancing of that price. However, price continues to it's like a magnet. It keeps drawing itself back here. And that could be liquidity as well as some additional pieces of price action. So that's even more of a confluence for me to identify for price to continue to go down. So let's keep moving forward. I'm going to delineate this previous wick here, which shows resting liquidity, as well as this one here, which would be my ideal first target for price to sell to this week. And then my next target would be here and here. Here. Once again, we do have wicks where orders of additional market participants have sell orders here. And it would be the opposite if we were looking for a buy. So I'm looking for price to continue to make its way down here. So let's go down to the daily. Actually, let's go back to the weekly. There's something that I missed. There's another fair value gap that's right here that I would like to identify. And I'm going to keep it light. For a weekly, I would like for it to be orange. but it'll still be fairly light so it does not clutter up the charts. And this is again where there was a major price action move upward, and then it left inefficient price action here. So I'm looking for a price to come down and fill in this gap. All right, so now let's go to the daily. All right, so on the daily chart, price did actually that very same thing last week. These candles prior to this last week, starting with December 1st. December 4th, price did actually sell down into this fair value gap here. So we see that there's a fair value gap here. I'm going to identify this as an aqua blue, just for a little bit of a difference. But I'm still looking for price, even though price did come down and buy back into this fair value gap, because this red pink candle, it is actually pink. This pink candle came and it closed below this fair value gap. I'm still looking for price to continue to come down and sell. If it had not broken and just gave us some wicks, some liquidity here, I would possibly look for more of a buy here first to this previous price point, and then maybe a sell down. But overall, on a weekly and a daily, I'm still looking for overall sales. All right, and then I do see some more liquidity here, as well as liquidity here from last week's buying. All right, so let's go down to the 4-hour. All right, so we have already identified this area, and we've identified this area, so I can go ahead and I'm going to remove this drawing, and I'm going to remove this drawing as well so we can clear up some of this chart. On a 4-hour, I see relatively equal lows. And I'm going to identify that as an additional target for price to come here. And also for price to come here where there is more liquidity and just more confirmation for a sale. Now, the 4-hour is where I like to look and see, okay, you know what, Bianca, you've been looking at sales. Also, as a trader, I need to be prepared for what the opposite to potentially happen, so that I'm making sure that I'm protecting my risk. So on the 4-hour, I would like to see, are there any places in which price could potentially come back up for a buy? And what I will say is, I see price potentially coming here, less likely to go there and more likely to come here. And I say here because if I look further on this way to the left, I see a fair value gap. So I'm going to identify that area. And for this fair value gap, I'm going to identify it as pink. All right, so price did actually come in and wick into this space. So I'm okay with the fact that price will probably not come back this high. And if it does, this will be a great area for me to bounce off of for potential buys. But once again, we do not predict the market. We just react to it. And those are the ideas that I'm going to move forward into the upcoming week. So because price did wick into this area, I'm still looking for sales, especially since it wicked into more than 50% of this area. So it's just something to keep in mind, just in case price does react to it. We're going to keep continuing to move down for sales. If price does come back here and it does show me some action, I'll reconsider. But right now, I'm still looking for sales. All right. And so finally, the 1 hour and the 15, I kind of use those interchangeably, but more so for an entry level purpose. I'm sorry, make this a little bit more even. Just for entry model purposes, I'm going to come to the 15-minute. So right here, there was a lot of price action wicking back and forth on Friday. Friday was actually NFP, so I stayed out of the market completely on Friday, but I did catch some buys as price did come into this point of interest earlier this week. earlier, the previous week, excuse me, right here for the end of November. And then price looks like it wanted to come back up this way, and it didn't quite touch. Still looking for sales. However, there's something I do want to keep in mind. Price has to come up in order to come down. Blessings go up. I'm sorry, praises go up, blessings come down, right? So I am still looking for price to buy up here and then come down for the rest of the week. So that is one of the main things that I've learned as a trader. Even though I want price to overall come down, I have to be conscious of the fact that there's liquidity that is resting up here that literally is the equivalent of putting gas in a car and for it to go. Price has to come back up here to get whatever is resting above its current price action to actually fuel it to come down. So price going up on a Monday, possibly Tuesday, and then reversing for the actual real move on Wednesday and Thursday is what I'm looking for. So in that regard, I would go to Forex Factory, which is one of the top news calendars globally, right? So Monday, I'm looking for the currency pair as well as the folder to show how heavily the news will possibly impact the markets. So Monday, we don't trade Mondays because I'm really waiting for the market to show me what is it that it wants to do. Tuesday, I got a little bit more action. I see that there's red folder news at 8:30, and then I do see again that there's more orange folder at 1 p.m. and then at 2 p.m. I have yellow news. Of course, red highest impact, orange is going to follow behind it, then yellow as the least impacted. But I take in consideration all news because I have literally seen yellow folder news make price go on GU at least 50, 60 pips in a matter of 2 minutes. So I take it all in consideration. Wednesday, now this is where our sweet spot is. We have heavy news for GBP and the United States dollar during 8:30, 2 o'clock, and then 2:30. So the week following NFP is usually FOMC. And then they have economic projections. It's also the end of the year, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm looking for short, quick pips. Thursday, we have heavy red folder news and also Canadian news. So I'm looking for my move for sales on Wednesday, and I'm really looking for it on Thursday. And then Friday we do have some Canadian news and some United States dollar. I don't typically trade on Fridays, but we will see what the market does have to give. All right, so let's go back. We have that in mind. So I'm actually going to do the very same thing on GU. And GU stands for the United States dollar the Great British Pound versus the United States dollar. All right, so we are going to remove all of these drawings. You guys may can tell UCAD is my baby, but GU, she's that girl too. So here, price has actually been on a downtrend. And honestly, GU and UCAD are supposed to be negatively correlating. However, this year has shown some very interesting things. We've seen a lot of very similar action when it should not have been, so that's where you just go to your price action and trade each chart individually, right? So price as of 2022 has been on an uptrend. So we're just going to focus right here, right? I am looking for previous highs and previous lows here, and I'm looking for some more previous lows here. Now, additionally here as well. Because I am even 2 for 2, I'm still kind of like, not sure if price is going to sell, not sure if price is going to buy. But I do see where I have potential buy side liquidity and sell side liquidity on both ends, right? So do I see any other PD arrays? Not quite. So I'm going to go down to the daily. Now the daily is giving me more of okay, so I do want to see price continue to buy It does support the negative correlation with United States dollar as sales. So I'm really liking that idea as well. I do see that there are some fair value gaps here on the daily. So I'm going to identify that. And we've already talked about what a fair value gap is. And I believe I said that that color was going to be aqua for our daily. And that is all I see. So honestly, what I would like for price to do is to come down. Let's see. I would like to see price come down, take out this liquidity right here that's identified by this black line, and then continue to buy up, specifically after it passes this fair value gap. But once again, we shall see. All right. So that's on our daily. Got our daily. Price is already broken highs here, broken highs here. It created a fair value gap that price had filled on a daily time frame here in the month of November, and it continued to have, heavy volume pushes moving up. Pause right here at this fair value gap, so we're going to continue to see. All right, so let's go down to the 4-hour. Now from here, I'm going to pause. I do see that I would like for price to continue to buy, but there's a lot of liquidity here that price needs to come back, balance price out. And in order to balance price out, I would like for it to come in this area. So balance price is where we talked about those fair value gaps, and we talked about certain levels of inefficiency. I would like for price to come and balanced out on this side where this end of price came and balanced out this end of price as well. So now that price has risen, I would like for it to come back here in this area to become more of a breaker for price to continue to buy up. All right. So right here on our H4 4-hour, I am going to stop. I'm going to wait to see what price gives me. I can go down to the 15-minute. See if is there any other areas where price would like to come down to? Possibly here and possibly here, excuse me. But I'm not going to identify. I'm actually just going to wait for Monday and Tuesday to show me what it would like. Go back to my calendar. Start all the way at Monday. No, not too much news. Tuesday, got some red folder during London session at 2 a.m. London is going to go crazy again on Wednesday at 2 a.m. And then it's going to continue to follow through New York session, and then heavy on Thursday. All right. So ideally for GBP versus United States dollar, I would like to see. Let's go back up to the 4-hour and my drawings. All right. So I would like to see price come here. And go from there to here. That is ideally what I would like to see. I am even okay with seeing if price comes again from here. If it comes all the way down here, I highly doubt that it would, because once price comes to this area right here, it's already balanced. But there ain't no telling what could happen. And price could decide, hey, I want to come all the way right here, or I want to come back to where it is I started. All right. I do not see too many relatively equal lows or relatively equal highs. So I'm comfortable with this reaction potentially happening. And then price going all the way up to higher liquidity identified right here. All right. So there's GU and possibly the same thing for EU, but we won't get into that today. I'm going to leave it as is. And I thank you guys so much for watching my very, very first video. I hope that everyone has a beautiful rest of their Sunday and have a wonderful week of trading. Thank you.